On and we should be live again. Hello everyone, welcome to the Ember Live coronavirus talks. We're all at home with nothing to do, so that's why we are here. Joining us today are Boris from Dutch Group,
Hey guys.
Orange Team, the Irishman,
Hello, token
And-
Irishman here.
and we got the objective list Dollar with us again.
Who is a Russian.
Who's
Hello.
Russian?
Privet.
Not like you can't hear that. Yeah, welcome again. So let's just get right into it. So coronavirus.
Well,
What did we miss?
last week you were telling us nothing was going on at all in Russia, and now we hear they've been lying.
No, I was not lying.
Oh no!
You mean the Putin was lying?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, what gave you that idea? His mouth was moving?
No, but the numbers are a bit more worrying. Or did I get it wrong?
Oh yeah, they were lying about numbers, but that's kind of what's expected. It cannot
Right.
be 300 people. It's at least 1,000, and now they are upping it by the hundreds. People are kind of panicking, thinking that it's real, that the 100 people getting infected every day.
Mm-hmm.
Although nobody still bought all the toilet paper. Maybe we don't care about our asses as much as you people do.
Any other panic buying going on, or nothing of the sort?
Yeah, crops.
We've got toilet paper for houses. Oh.
You know your priorities. I have like 3 rolls. Is that what you call them?
All right.
Well, it's gonna be a quarantine for a week now. Next week.
Like national?
Yeah, national quarantine. Although it's voluntary, more or less. Every company is allowed to have volunteers on the stock. So, for example, I will be working from tomorrow. I will personally go to my office, sit in front of my giant smart television, and watch videos. And I'm going to be paid twice my usual salary for a week.
For me, I'm getting paid like 7 hours of work while doing 5 hours of work. Found out that's only. Then sadly, I get paid for the actual hours that I work, but it's nice.
Yeah, we're gonna need it.
That is possibly quite true. Yeah.
Also, the quarantine didn't really affect businesses. Like our biggest chains, like you have Walmart, we have Lanta and Metro. They announced that they will not. They will be working despite the quarantine. They don't care.
But at that point, it just sounds like Russia is just a couple weeks behind the rest of the world.
Pretty much.
Or at least the rest of the West, where we started off saying like, yeah, maybe we'll shut down a couple things, but for the most part, you can stay home if you want, but for the most part, don't worry. Then a couple weeks later, we're all going into, well, in the Netherlands, it's still mandatory, well, not mandatory quarantine, but who knows how long that'll last.
Did you hear? Did you hear in Belgium the health minister said that non-essential sex activities of 3 people are allowed, or some shit like that?
Well, quite logical actually. Like a few weeks ago, you had that when they wanted to close the coffee shops here, which is possible. The wheat stores in the Netherlands, for the people who are not in the know. Huge lines formed. They had half an hour to close. Everyone ran to the coffee shops. Huge lines all over the country. Then
You
they
know what
opened them again. Dealers were handing out phone numbers line, but when that happened, they also closed shops, well, not sex shops, like the places where they have the pubs.
So not brothels, but yeah, we got a
Well,
couple of
that too.
we got plenty of sex houses all around. Sometimes I find out that there's someone one a couple streets from me. They just buy big houses and rent it out like every weekend. Well, actually, when I lived a bit outside of Amsterdam, I found out like a building I've been cycling past for years was like a big legit sex house. Now I'm not part of that
Yes.
world, so I didn't really investigate too much, but seemed like it had like weekly parties going on and stuff like that. All right, sure. And I don't know how common it is.
Pretty logical, right? The mice.
Sure.
Oh,
I
that's
mean, I'm
ridiculous.
not part of that scene. Is that like a big Dutch thing or
What? Oop.
no? Well, the weed culture, even though we're kind of nonchalant about it,
The weed
the fact that
thing,
everybody
like,
is running towards those coffee shops when they start closing still tells you something.
well, no, like if they would close the liquor stores, you
Mm-hmm.
can bet online, so can if
Sure, right.
out on the same level for people, I would say, how they feel like.
Mm-hmm.
All the ones who
That's
go
true.
to those places.
I mean, they didn't
Oi,
even have to
oi.
close down the toilets, paper stores, and they still rushed for that.
Well, the problem is other countries just calling your the total lockdown. Okay, that stops. I would recommend stash. Here, where a lot of people just go to the coffee shop, don't have contactors after drive them. The shops are actually quite capable in regulating days ago. Like a line outside, movie dividers, lines on the ground, meter and a half apart,
Mm-hmm.
all
We
very
actually had it
civilly.
outside on the supermarket. They also had like a
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I would say that it gets done there and not go by some kid who drives around 20 different hand or something. The other
Mhm. I've seen pictures of drug dealers with mouth caps and stuff like that. So it's not like they're totally uncaring for it.
well, lot of them are idiots.
I have a friend from South Africa, and she told me that in times of apartheid, when cafes were disallowed from working,
Mm.
they had dog whisperers on the edges of the street. So they see a cop car, they blow a whistle, and cafe just closes down. I think that's what you're heading towards.
Well, they had all kinds of deals when the prohibition was going on, where you couldn't sell alcohol, so they sold was it variety shows and stuff like that, and then you got complimentary alcohol. Um, and they found all kinds of ways to get around something like that. Now, obviously, now we're not just um, making products illegal; we're making entire shops not necessarily legal, but we're closing them down. So it's a different kind of situation, but still.
In my country, my government are trying to make an app that is to help. It's to track your movements and it will help with contact or whatever. What's the fucking thing? to try and figure out like who you've touched in the past, and if you test positive, the people you've been in contact with will get alerted. But an app that tracks your movements that the
Right.
government owns does not sound a good thing.
That's that sounds like the lamest excuse.
Exactly.
Like
Well,
they start like halfway through the sentence. Yeah, we made it an app to track your movements, so we can find out who's actually ill and protect you. Like,
for your own good, it's for your own safety.
Hmm.
Please. Well,
No
like
one,
the
no
UK
one with any
government
fucking
has
sense.
asked the cell phone providers to anonymize data.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Here, I haven't really heard a lot of stories about that. Here, they did pass out, how do you call it? Questionnaires. Like, where do you work and stuff, and else
hmm,
giving that information willingly and knowingly completely should specifically government shouldn't have that fucking data.
Like they say the app is you can voluntarily download it up until now, up until the site you have to download it, or it's like a breach of public safety that you don't have this app on your phone that we can track your movements.
Well,
Like the steps
they
towards
could just
authoritarianism are so,
require Google to give them the data.
or have a forced on download on your phone. Like the steps towards authoritarianism are so small. Like there's like a handful of them, and we can
well,
fucking see it, and like ah,
if the purpose of the app is to track your movement, and it's not even a step towards it, then it's just there already. And
I
it's like,
know,
yeah,
yeah.
with the added bonus that maybe we can find out earlier if we're sick. Um, Still sounds like shit because then it's like, yeah, we found out this dude who has already been contagious for 2 weeks passed you on the street. Well, great. Thanks for that information. That's going to help me a lot.
Thanks, Tavarish.
So
I
another fun
think
thing that came about. Oh wait, if you want to go on about that.
I think it's because it's all like an article where the South Koreans put the reason behind their effective like tracking and reporting cases and recovering people and shit like that to their intense, quite draconian surveillance. Like, and I don't know about that. Like, they actually have like 1984 shit to like track people's messages. They can't feel sick and shit
South
like that.
Korea,
So yeah, yeah, yeah.
like recently, or they already had that in place.
They're had in place. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with the culture of South Korea or the society in general. Like, they're really modern, and but I heard stuff like that before. Um, well, could be talking about that. But another thing I wanted to bring up um, is that China has been. I mean, you don't want to go into conspiracy quickly, but they have been profiting of this of this virus by providing us with medicine or at least tests. I mean, to find out whether you have the virus or not, with large amounts of mouth caps. I'm thinking other medical instruments as well, but I can't remember. Uh, and now we've been finding out all the tests they send us, and even the mouth caps, which you think will be a really easy thing to make, are all
Mm.
faulty or of poor quality and have to be, well, not sent back, but just discarded. Was Spain, who had like 500,000, I think, of mouth caps, just had to discard them because um, they were just terrible for
Made in
whatever reason.
China, guarantee.
Mm.
But come on, it's like a piece of plastic and two strings, right?
Don't know.
Yeah, made in China.
True, yeah. Um, which is I'm thinking we probably just don't have these industries like locally. So we probably don't have a choice but to buy it from them.
What's
even
the
Yeah,
those
dangers of
products.
globalism?
Well, yeah, it's what nationalists and more conservative people have been calling all along, although not always with strong reasons behind them until something like this comes along and we find out why it might be good to have some local production of necessary products. Then again, the best argument against it is like a situation like this most of the time doesn't come along. So globalism isn't necessarily a bad thing, but now we find out, gee, wouldn't it be great if we just had a local producer of something as simple as a mouth cap?
And would it be?
Well, I wouldn't want a military made in China either, but um,
I would. I prefer it to tanks who can start.
also like on the production locally, the whole toilet paper trend I actually think started because the Australians were hoarding toilet paper because they imported it from China.
You tell me
yeah,
Australians don't have their own toilet paper.
Yeah.
In Russia, we have our own manufacturers.
hmm
I wouldn't recommend you using them. You were speaking about masks. You can use Russian toilet paper as a mask.
hmm
It'll be so effective. I doubt you can breathe.
I can totally understand how you can fuck up toilet paper. It's really delicate.
Yeah, that's the point. It's not really delicate.
Right.
It seems that they're making it out of stone or something. I wouldn't go into unnecessary details, but don't use it.
After 3 wipes, it maybe starts bleeding.
Yeah, it's so great that you start bleeding. Then again, in Russia, it's not really. There's not much our government can do to take our freedoms away. They kind of did that already.
Mm,
Like you saying, like I heard the news that in other countries, it's now forbidden to move in groups. That was forbidden in Russia a long time.
Really?
oh,
If you have a protest, or if you even just like, there was a liberal group that were reading Adam Smith. They just read Adam Smith for heaven's sake. And after that, they decided all 35 people to go to cafe. They were all walking on the street, all 35, and they got arrested for an illegal protest. They did no such thing. They just looked alike and had flags.
On this Olga Isik or something. Teenage girls read.
That's normal.
But how are
Alright.
those? All right, go ahead.
I have it. Window. Hello.
How heavy are penalties for something like that?
About 20,000-30,000 rubles, not dollars, rubles.
All right, how does that translate to
It
dollars?
translates to about now current state is 70, let's say 80. So it's about $100 for one protest. Well, let's say I was fined that. That would be a nice amount. I make about 80,000 rubles a month. If I find 10,000, that's half my food ration.
Right.
And most people don't really do anything bad. Like they read Constitution, they just stand around with a blockade.
Well, yeah, I won't make the argument that if the fine is little, that it'll be good. Like, regardless of whether how high the fine is, it's still bad for you to be arrested for just walking together.
Well, we have some like laws here against forming. Thing that's new is that patient can be coronavirus.
But that's related to situations, right? If
Yeah.
there like it's a specific
So stabbings or gang fights in a neighborhood.
well, obviously stabbing in itself is illegal. But
But as an
situations that are prone to
anti
lead to violence.
could already say you can't have calls, groups form,
Yeah.
fights. So that's nothing new. So
Which I don't
question.
necessarily agree with either. But then again, it's somewhat different than for political reasons.
Right now, people won't be allowed on streets next, I think. Especially because they're asking for it too.
Yeah, here too, people are asking, but for idiots. Facts. Total lockdown, especially in the situation, I go too far. Like whatever marketing terms they want to apply to it, we are doing. Okay, just close the bars and okay, I get that. For the rest, just let people work. Give people benefits who temporarily can't work and make it a bit easier for now. As there aren't really there isn't much here that actually. Yeah, the one thing that might go too far here is you can only invite 3 people into your own home, and we're supposed to keep 1.5 distance.
Well, the fact that you can't even walk with like 3 people on the street is crazy as well.
Yeah.
2 is maximum.
Yep.
And I don't know if you
Which
still
are
have
not
to keep
family,
distance
of
at that
course.
point. Yeah. Well, and family is defined as people living in your home also.
Yeah.
Oh, jokes on them. I don't have 3 people to invite to my house.
This is all working out fine.
Yeah, nothing changed. I've been sitting here alone, nothing changed.
Well, I'm not gonna argue. Yeah. Won't lie. It's not
The
much
only
Actually,
thing
different
a
for
that
lot
me.
changed
has
for me
changed
is
for me.
going to the bar.
Yeah, all the cafes I frequent are closed down. You see the hookah cafe, the smoking cafes. Those closed down real fast.
I'm guessing that's maybe also an environment that maybe makes it easier to spread.
People like
Yeah.
suck on the pipes.
Yeah.
And they're like passing to each other. So.
Yeah, there was a picture of a hookah bar with people with masks.
It's very but like aren't they sharing the pipes though?
Yeah,
So what's the point of the
exactly.
fucking masks?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, in most cafes here in Russia, you have like you do share a pipe, but you have a special thing on top of it that is individual.
Right.
And I usually buy a pipe for myself and for others, like individual pipes.
Hmm.
I'm kind of lightweight when it comes to tobacco. I once asked them for the strongest thing they had, and I started seeing double. Like
Ooh.
everything around me doubled. I could barely walk.
Nicotine.
Yeah,
I can.
It's interesting how they're gonna do scale back after it's all done, or how even it's gonna be done. Well, they
Or
will
if
just
it's, yeah,
they
like
will go on.
you go. Just saying that, like, I actually fucking don't think it's ever gonna get scaled back. I think we're just gonna be, because like my mom says, like we're gonna be staying in this for like a year,
Yeah,
up until the
probably half
vaccine's
a
made.
year at least.
I am expecting that as well, yeah. But like we mentioned last time, the question is also because it can't keep up the idea of like you got to stay inside because there's a virus around. Then again, just with a small twist to that, I think they can make that argument. Question is, what's that twist gonna be? Like the potentiality of a virus still being around, or that we find out that maybe homework is a great alternative to actually going out. So they expand from there. Like it's better for you as a worker to just stay home and work from home, and maybe have everything done from home, and maybe just incentivize people in other ways to stay at home.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Like during the Soviet Union, then they built like I'd find all the apartments in like one place, so the
Mhm.
KGB just come in and just take everyone up because they know exactly.
Right? Yeah, they know where you are. They know where to find you, and they just um, keep making your world a little bit smaller every time.
Maybe we won't turn to Nazi Germany or the Soviet Union by the end of this, but
Maybe we won't.
it's starting to look like it.
Well, if it's on to
Well,
Soviet Union, there are gonna be more markets than currently.
there are gonna be a lot of institutions and things that are gonna be completely different. I mean, again, the airplane industry is probably gonna be a lot different.
Yeah, I could see that making big changes, definitely. Um,
I mean, if the Greens get what they want, it will be like this forever. Some people have been saying.
Mm,
what were they fighting for then?
Well,
Oh, you
not
just
really
mean like
specifically.
less
Planes.
airplanes. Sure, yeah. Yeah, they've been like Extinction Rebellion has been going around with messages like, "Whoa, we're the real virus," like the most lame
Ugh.
fucking shit.
Yeah,
And it's also like
you know what you
real
do with a
misanthropic.
virus? There's one thing you can do about that. Start with
Hands, pipe.
Mhm.
yourself.
Start with the
Yeah.
individual.
Well, they would not start with themselves because they're the whole thing about them thinking that humanity is a virus is just another way for them to feel self-important. Look at
Mhm.
me, we're virus, but I'm the conscience virus.
Yeah, I got the
Mm-hmm.
sticker.
Like I'm the real virus that thinks everybody is just NPC. It's the anti-human attitude. You know, Ayn Rand wrote about that in Anti-Industrial Revolution, the article. I encourage people to watch it, research it.
Mm.
Mm.
She then describes a world where most industries were shut down for ecology. I'm starting to think that's gonna be my life soon.
For the flourishing of nature and stuff like that.
Yeah, as she
Mhm.
says, it the human life for those people doesn't mean as much as a life of spotted owl. For some reason, spotted owls have a right to exist, even though they're also parasites on the earth, quote unquote, but not humans.
Mm.
Yeah, uh, the ethics applied to animals is crazy because they can't do anything bad. But every influence we have on the planet is supposedly, um, if it's not bad, that it's still moving from the status quo, and the status quo being a planet without humans on it. And every murder we do, even though the best way, the most noble way to kill animal's life is to hunt it so it doesn't die from starvation, it doesn't get torn to shreds by a predator or anything like that. hunting an animal in the wild is a great way to get food and a great way to actually, um, well, it's a good thing. I think it's really defensible. But every green organization is totally against it just because humans do it, but not a word about animals killing each other. And obviously not like I'm gonna be opposed to that. That's how animals do. They kill each other, rip each other to shreds. Fine with that, but um, it seems entirely misanthropic.
Well, it mostly is. Like, have you spoken to Greens?
I'm a part of that.
Try not to.
Most
been-
of them are.
Yeah.
If they don't hate other people, they usually hate themselves.
Oof.
Like, they depressed and suicidal. I'm not. I'm not surprised you're for Green Deal.
They're really pessimistic. Uh, there are not a lot of positive thoughts in there. There are not a lot of positive change within a structure. It's always let's tear the whole fucking thing down.
Even their influences, they usually read Sartre. Jesus, nobody should read Sartre ever.
Mm. It's kind of like you can actually make like a positive. You can be pro-human and pro-environment at the same time, because
Yeah,
because of conservation, lions are like exploding in South Africa, and they actually had to get people from other countries to come in and hunt them, or they'll be
seriously?
overpopulated. Yeah, and like it fuels the economy and shit.
Huh?
Like so, they have like this reservation, and the people who come in spend like hundreds of dollars on hunting them. That money then
Yeah.
goes into like further conservation.
Well,
Well,
it's
I've
not
heard.
gonna help much for South Africa.
What about it?
Well, he just said that it's gonna to help economy of South Africa. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, well, their political
Mm.
forces are working strongly against that.
Yeah, they are mostly socialists, and most of people there are on welfare. If most people in your country on welfare, you're not going anywhere. There's no possibility for growth.
Haven't they also kind of done a crusade against the white farmers and
Well, not
all
just
that
white
stuff?
farmers. There's also a quota where you cannot hire a lot of whites in your private business. Of course, many people avoid that by freelance jobs.
Mm.
Didn't they have like a water shortage that came about directly by firing all their qualified white workers?
I think so. That happened in
Um,
Durban, right?
I'm talking about South Africa. Is that part of South Africa? See, I'm
Yeah,
not.
Durban is southern thing, like no, not southern, eastern part of South Africa, I think. KwaZulu Natal.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, I probably don't know.
Well, I'm really afraid to say too much about it because I've heard shards of what's going on there. But yeah, if you know more about that, please tell me.
Not that I know much. I'm just saying that I think that what's happening. Just agreeing with you.
Hmm.
I just hear general news from pals of mine online. It's interesting that there's no cases of coronavirus in Africa and Caribbean. They closed
Aren't there?
down anyway.
Oh, aren't the number, actual number of infected states that they have? Such wouldn't.
Yeah, that's one possibility. But the I think at least two of you are Dutch. The
Hmm.
Caribbean Antilles, Curacao, Aruba, and Saint Martin.
They only had
Hmm.
one case or something.
I think zero, at least from what I read.
I think there was one case somewhere flown over. Somebody got in. America.
Shit.
I remember I saw an article like
Africa,
that,
yeah.
and some of the Amazonian tribes actually might have corona as well.
Damn.
Libya and Chad. Smaller with very more than 1,000.
Yeah, it really comes down to how well equipped are they to actually register that. Because maybe they're lucky and they really got very few cases, but I'm guessing if it really starts spreading there, they might be the worst equipped to actually deal with something like that.
Well, then reality just proved me wrong. Thank you.
Also, I
Big-
saw like estimates for in Wuhan. What was it?
Mhm.
Estimated death for Wuhan was about 49,000. People like experts think like how
Dead?
people actually yeah, in the city of Wuhan themselves. I didn't read the article, but I just saw like a tweet about it. It's like fuck.
Yeah, about half the
That's a city
cases
of
in the
20 million,
Wuhan
right?
region.
Not sure.
China itself has a official death rate of 80,000.
In a population of 1 billion.
Yes, 60 cases per 1 million, while Italy has 15. While I would say Chinese society is probably less hygienic.
That's one of the reasons why the virus even started.
Even compared to like the Netherlands, they say they have an infection rate of 1. With how we may
They have to be fucking lying. Like, just like I'm just angsting for like the actual information to get out.
Well, and it's not just that, it's also the way China is dealing with it. I saw a video and I didn't get any confirmation from where it was. But if it actually was video footage from China currently, this is being now, it looked like a fucking war zone with authorities going through the streets with people just lying, well, seemingly dead on the street. Authorities dressed up full in not hazmat suits, but protective suits, protective gear, just walking the streets with guns in their hands, and a lot of shots in the background. Now,
I have
media has
seen
been spreading
sources
around.
calling it
Yeah,
together.
all right. And I could totally see that happen. So I don't want to put a lot of weight at all to it. So I could see that being from picked together from wherever. So I'm hoping it's not like that.
I
I'm really
could also
hoping nothing like that comes out. But they already have been silencing people for months before in February they finally couldn't ignore it anymore. And yeah, I don't trust the government at all. I don't trust the 80,000 number. The statistics that bring forward that 2 million mobile accounts had been cancelled in the last couple months.
Mm-hmm.
Are
Or
worrisome.
Steam or art.
I haven't started writing yet, but I probably should get that. Yeah, I'll probably get that done by Friday. I have like this week is free though, so it's
We are
like
coming up on
quite.
the end.
No, I don't.
Stay indoors, wash your hands, but keep your eyes open.
Belgian non-essential.
Exactly.
Yeah, don't
3 to 10.
swing your wife.
This is not a time to cock.
No.
The swinging is not cocking, but alright.
Just to close up, I also saw an article that says, does Corona mean I have to stop sleeping with random men?
Yeah, I saw that.
That's another article. Yeah, anyway.
We might talk about it next time. Again, we're hope to see everyone next time. Bye.
All right, see ya.
Bye.
До свидания.